YouTube, welcome back to another video. It's Michael Gallacher here with Michael Gallacher Music, rebranded for 2026. You've recorded your opus, your songs, you've got them on a hard drive, maybe you've put them into an album form, maybe you've uploaded that album to the internet using DistroKid and you're on all the streaming services. But for me as an artist, I really want something physical from all that hard work. And I came across a company called ElasticStage who produce CDs and vinyls on demand. Now, I'm not sponsored by them, they have no idea I'm even making this video, but just before Christmas, having finished my album in 2025 Songs for Sarah, I wanted the album to be on a physical format. And so I was looking at different ways that I could get the album onto physical format, and coming across ElasticStage, I realised that I could get just a few copies of my album on vinyl and on CD at a very reasonable cost. So I uploaded the music, which was relatively straightforward, no more difficult than uploading it to streaming services. I uploaded the artwork, and then I paid, I think, about £30 for the vinyl and £12 or £13 for the CD. And they sent me out test pressings. The packaging that they sent it in was nice cardboard packaging, which actually had been dunked by the mailman. So I was worried that the record inside of it would be dunked, but when I opened it up, the record actually was perfectly protected. So in terms of the way they send you the items, very, very safe. Certainly in my experience anyway. And then I have received a vinyl copy of my album and a CD copy. So what are my thoughts on these now I've actually got them? Well, the first thing I would say is that the printing quality of the album is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it looks so professional. You essentially upload artwork for the front, artwork for the back, and then artwork for the inside. And the same thing with the record, artwork for the front, artwork for the back, and then artwork also for the sleeve, which is lovely. And as I say, the actual print quality on this is second to none. It's every bit as good as a vinyl or an album I'd expect to pick up from HMV or Amazon. It's absolutely flawless. And then just looking at the vinyl itself, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. You've got your own label there with my name on it, with the album name on it, and then the album is perfectly printed onto vinyl. Heavy as well. I don't know if it's 180 gram vinyl like they sell in the shops, but it's certainly a good weight, and it's a much better weight than some of the vinyls that you get from, like the 80s, where they were printing them quite quite thin plastic. And the same thing with the CD. It's perfectly printed. Everything's all nicely aligned. No issues. It doesn't look in any way like it's unprofessional. And there's a nice sleeve as well, also on the CD, together with a nice printed face. In terms of the sound quality of this, I actually uploaded a vinyl rip last week from this record, and it sounds absolutely fantastic. I mean, I mastered them slightly differently. I mastered them just at home myself. I mastered the record, I think, to a -14 LUFs, and the CD I mastered slightly hotter at -9 LUFs, just to give it a little bit more volume, so it's competitive. And the record obviously sounds like a record. It's vinyl, it's an analog format, so it introduces some compression and some crackles and pops. But actually, the album that I've got here is very quiet in terms of that, but it does have that quality of a record. I'll invite you to come over to my other video and have a virtual listening party with me, and to listen to the whole album from start to finish. But for those that don't want to do that, perhaps those that are into death metal or something like that, I'm just going to put some clips at the end of the video so you can get a taste of actually how good these sound. So they send you out a test pressing. It took about 3 weeks, I think, for it to arrive from the time I uploaded it to the time it actually arrived. It cost about £30. The great thing is you can do some revisions. So my original copy of the album was done as the media preacher, and I produced this. So I had the media preacher there, Songs for Sarah, basically the same cover, but it had a blue strip I put at the top, I don't know why. And I'd had this back done to it, but I didn't think this back, to be honest with you, looked that professional, so I wanted to make some changes. When I listened to the album with my wife, she said to me, look, you can't be the media preacher, this album is very personal, you need to present this album as you. So that was the first change I made. And then when we looked at the back, we decided that actually perhaps wasn't as professional as a slightly cleaner version of the back, which has gone onto the final album. So I was able to go in after the test pressing had arrived, make some changes, and then have a further test pressing sent out. Now it did cost me another £30, of course it's not free, but at least you can get an idea of what you're going to get before you actually put it on sale. And of course it also allows anybody that wants to buy the album access to it as well, because they give you a link where they effectively then sell the albums for you. If you're doing this as a commercial enterprise, it's probably not worth it, if I'm being honest, because when you sell an album, you get very little of the album royalty back yourself. Most of the money that's spent, the £30 that's spent on the album or the CD, effectively goes to ElasticStage, which, given that they're providing an on-demand service for vinyls, I think actually is probably not that unreasonable, unless you're trying to make a commercial endeavour out of it. If you are trying to make a commercial endeavour out of this, then perhaps going down the bulk vinyl route from other companies would be better, because of course you're paying less for the records and then you're selling them and keeping a lot more of the profit. Whereas with ElasticStage, really when the albums are sold, they're making most of the profit and you're getting a bit on the back end effectively. So I think it's probably cost prohibitive if you're trying to do this on a larger scale. But if you're just an independent artist or a hobby artist who has recorded some albums and you would like to have those albums on vinyl or on CD professionally pressed, then I think ElasticStage is probably a really good option for you, and that's exactly where I sit. Now, the shipping costs can be quite expensive because ElasticStage are based in London. So for me, it's just national shipping across England. Internationally, again, it costs a lot more, and so again, it becomes slightly cost prohibitive. So this is an option that's available to anyone. But if you don't live in the United Kingdom, if you live in the US for instance, it is going to cost you quite a bit more to get the finished product to you, and I think you have to be aware of that before you go into it. But on the whole, I think ElasticStage have provided me with exactly what I wanted. A copy of my album on record. I've got a couple of copies. I can change them around, I can make different artworks out of them when they don't work. And I'll have this now in the collection for many, many years. And it's a real thrill to get the music that you've worked so hard on actually pressed onto vinyl, and to hear it coming through your record player is something really, really special, especially if you've got quite a nice setup. You can really get the most of it. But the quality of the printing is fantastic, the quality of the pressing and the audio is fantastic. I couldn't really say anything bad about them, other than if you were doing it on a commercial scale, they're probably not the company for you, because they can be slightly cost prohibitive and they're keeping most of the profit that's being made, I think, truth be told. But of course they're putting all of the expenditure into having the infrastructure to be able to provide this in the first place. And so that's probably a fair deal, isn't it? So anyway, they're just my thoughts. As I say, I'll put some clips of the album on the video now so you can get to hear it, and if you want to come and check out the full album rip, please do in the link. Take care and I'll see you next time.
In my head, did you mean the way that you kiss? Did you mean the way that you kiss me? If you cry, oh you down, sing this lullaby. True love, now you know how it sounds. Now you know how it sounds. Egyptian skies. Encourage the ember, ignite the flame. Without a prisoner's touch, this could have laid to waste. And I buy you flowers each month till they reach the grave. And I'll go to sleep each night in the home we've made. to the light with me. Baby, come back to our life with me. You decide in your mistake. You charm me. 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 You charm me.